Hello, everyone. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. I hope everyone's all well out there in the world and doing all right. I must admit, the atmosphere in the West Ham community is better. I will say that. Everyone seems to be, I don't know, it feels like the weight is firmly off West Ham's shoulders as a fan base. And obviously, last night's game was interesting. It was it was crap in the first half, better in the second half, and in the end, we actually get something out of the game. This is a have your say, so chuck your comments in. Anything you wanted to say, by all means, chuck it in. If anyone wants to come on, they can. You know what the crack is here. And basically, we're just going to talk about it for about half hour, 45 minutes of issues and everything. One thing I will say is that I've noticed that basically everyone feels a bit better. Like, I don't know, the West Ham morale seems to be a lot better than usual. You know what I'm saying? Like, because obviously we haven't had nothing to shout about for a while. Obviously with Potter and everything else, but obviously Nuno is in there now, and he's no nonsense. He's no nonsense. I think he's going to win people around to the way of his thinking. Um, the passion from him last night in regards of the Jared Bowen goal, which I did clip up and I've put something out on TikTok, feels to me that it's someone who actually genuinely cares. And I also feel like this man's got a point to prove and all. Like big time. I think he's looking at it and gone, right, I need to get back into management. West Ham was there and he wasn't going to hang about. And if we roll back to last summer, and obviously we had Potter in charge. If you could have got rid of Potter and gone and got Nuno out of Forest, I think people would have done, right? To have Nuno there is a bit of a stroke of luck. And thank God for Marinakis losing the plot at Forest. Otherwise, we wouldn't know who would have. But last night was good on many issues. People were disagreeing with me on the Krug thing. I'm not buying it with the Krug thing. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm not going to be gaslit into believing that West Ham are going to be better with Krug up front. I thought he was absolutely shite last night. I'm not going to lie. And he done nothing. He literally done nothing of any note at all. So, he's got to be better in the upcoming games. And, it wasn't great from him last night. It really wasn't. The Debo thing, I just see Paul put that up in the chat there, and I am going to get to that in a minute. The Debo and sort of James Ward-Prowse thing, he's come in and he's just gone, right, anyone with any lip, they're out the door. So, I think he's got a problem with Ward-Prowse. And listen, whatever you think of Ward-Prowse as a player, Nuno's come in and not had none of it. Not had none of it at all. But the Tadibo one's a bit of a weird one because maybe it's the attitude thing with the kid. I don't know. But, we're going to find out. Let's have a look, see what people are saying. Phil and Billy Mitchell, you need up front. Well, anyone to do, mate. Love the passion from Nuno after the goal. Feels like he gives a shit. Mate, I completely agree. Completely agree. 100%. I felt like I'm going to be honest, he felt like all of us. Like me last night, my reaction to the goal was there for all to see. I literally went mad because, listen, I'm worried about the club this year. Right, I am. I'm nervous. I'm worried that the club could go down. I don't want to see West Ham go down. I just think I can't handle that one. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm going to say this. I'm not going to have West Ham go down, right? Because Sullivan won't fuck off. Sullivan needs to fuck off anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? And I will get to talk sport later on because I did see some great calls on there today. I will say that. Right, let's get to Paul. So Debo, can Nuno get into his head and get him going? Or does this bad egg need to be gone? I think it needs to be gone, mate. Lopetegui, Potter, and Nuno's come in and basically swept him aside. I don't know how many more times we've got to give players chances before they run out of chances. If it was me, right, I think January's so big for this club in regards of like personnel because someone said last night, funny enough, I make them right to a point. I really do. If West Ham are floating around mid-table, say West Ham are about 14th in the league, will Sullivan go out and spend, or would he give us the old blag like he always does, and turn around and say, "No, what we'll do, we'll wait till the summer." Right? I don't think we can wait to the summer this time. I think we need to go out. We definitely need centre halves at this club. We need at least one centre half at this club who can actually header a ball. We need a centre forward at this club, right? With some sort of pace about him. Like, obviously, last night, Fulkrug wasn't good enough for me. So, yeah, if it was me, I'd probably get red, mate, if I'm being honest. I was there last night. Fulkrug is dog shit. You were absolutely spot on. These users, mate. And the amount of rads I had, people coming at me saying, oh, like he headed the ball, he done this, he done that. Right, you must have been watching a different game. Like, you must be on gear. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm not on gear. Like, you've got to be on drugs if you thought he was all right last night. And there was people giving him a 6 out of 10. I was like, mate, what is going on? Like, is this what it is now? Like, a player can come up, play for 90 minutes, not do nothing. He's getting like an average rating. Not for me. Not for me at all. Diouf, Roberto Carlos. God, he was excellent, mate. He was good. Very good. Very, very, very good indeed. Defensively, not great, especially in the first half. But second half, I thought it was like someone just shot a rocket up his arse and said, right, you run there, son. And he did. After Nuno, I thought Paqueta was our weak link last night. True. I'm going to be straight. What did he really do in the whole game? And the one thing with Lucas Paqueta is he's like Marmite. You either like him or you don't. And he's either on it or he's not. I ever since the Forest game, he hasn't been on it. It's as simple as that. He just hasn't been the Lucas Paqueta since the Forest game. So, yeah, he needs to perform, mate. Like what I said last night was that we can't keep relying on Bowen to keep getting us out of jail. Some of these other players have got to step up to the mark and they've got to stake a claim and deserve to be wearing the West Ham shirt. Somerville done his best last night. I thought he was excellent. And he obviously won man the match. Bowen does what he does, right? You can never question Bowen at all because he always delivers, even when he's not playing great. And last night, it wasn't his best game, but he always pops up with a goal and he's that sort of player. I don't see that in Fulkrug. I don't see that in Paqueta. I don't see that in a few of these players. Do you know what I mean? And we need them to be sixes up rather than sixes down. There's too many sixes and down for me, if I'm being honest. Get to Jason. I went up there last night, had a few fans having a row about the protest. Some dopey fans were saying it don't help the team. It's fans like that is why we'll be done at our club. Mate, what is going on with these people? The protests are for a reason, right? I'm just going to say this on that. Come on, shout to Jason, right? I'm going to say this. These protests are for a reason because Sullivan has had to go through 3 managers now to get to Nuno. And listen, I think Nuno, I don't give a fuck about style of play. I care about winning, right? Because if we don't win games, we're going down. Yeah. And style of play and all this fucking, oh, we've got to look good the West Ham way, right? That goes out the window when you're fighting to stay in the league, right? Because I don't think no one will care how we play as long as we get results. The issue is that if you want the West Ham way back at West Ham, you need to get rid of Sullivan. Simple as that, because Sullivan ain't going to deliver you the West Ham way. I think Nuno has got the passion to be a West Ham manager. Right, last night it felt right. It felt like he knew when that goal went in and he erupted. It felt like a geezer who actually generally cares. And with Potter, he was just a bit vanilla, wasn't he? A bit bland. It felt like Nuno's there and he cares, and it was like Potter was there and he was just, that was it. You know what I mean? It was just nothing. But these protests need to be upped, and they are going to be upped. And this is not about the team. It's not about the manager. This is about the owner. And I see it today on TalkSport where there's some really good callers on there today. Really fucking good, right? And one of them literally ripped the argument apart completely and said that you took us out of our home. You took away the history of West Ham. This is deeper than anything, mate. Right? Players, managers come and go. But I'll tell you what, if you want West Ham to remain and be the West Ham of old, yeah, we need to have a ground that everyone feels comfortable in going to. Away fans don't like it. Home fans don't like it. Journalists don't like it. Do you know what I mean? They all can't be wrong. They all can't be wrong, in my honest opinion. I think the emotions from the manager is important to make the players get it. Completely agree, mate. Completely agree. Because when I'm seeing a manager showing that passion, I expect that on the pitch. That's what I expect. I expect that to be like relayed onto the pitch and saying, "Well, look at that geezer, right? He's." And if you can see that, give it 6 months with Nuno. Hopefully, yeah, it will embed into us. Do you know what I'm saying? That when we're playing a game and a big game, right, the desire to win. It feels like the desire to win at West Ham has been sucked out of us at the minute. And last night we could have done something that we haven't done under Potter, and that's come back from a losing position. Like we don't know how to win from a losing position. But last night, there's a few good things about last night. The main thing that I was really over the moon with is once we went 1-0 down, we did not collapse. We stood strong, right? We was under pressure, and we still felt like we was in the game. And we got the goal, which we deserved in the second half, and we could have won it at the end. We really could have done. Another day, bit more, maybe another 6 games down the road under Nuno, we might have won that game. But we was unlucky last night. It really was. Let's get to this one. I think Nuno can get Tadibo on board. Uh, God, dear. Yeah, but how long do you give him though, mate? That's right. The question is now is how long do you give Tadibo before you go right? It's time to sell because he's our player now. We paid money for this geezer. For me, this season's the one. If he can't do it this season, then you got to get rid of him before his value starts to come down. I agree on that comment here. That Tadibo has always had questions about his attitude in his career. It's starting to show a little bit there, mate. I think this season has been awful, awfully mugged off since Sunderland. Fair enough. Yeah, but listen, right? If we the next 3 games are massive, right? For all different reasons. The Arsenal game is massive because I don't want us to get hammered in this game. I think we're going to lose the game. I really do, but I don't get hammered in this game. Yeah, because that will dent the morale. Then the Brentford and Leeds games are 2 of the biggest games in West Ham's season up to date. We have to get at least minimum 4 points out of them 2 games. If we get less than that, then I think it's going to be hard. And then after that, I think we've got Burnley and Newcastle in there and all. So we're going to have to start livening up and getting some wins rather than sort of just dragging out results. Let's get to this one. Most people were shouting out to get Wilson on. He was so shit. He can't start Saturday. Do you know what? That's the one thing that I said last night. I got pelters for it. Yeah, right. Why are you criticising Nuno, right, and all that? Listen, if I think something's not right, I'm going to call it. And I just don't understand that Falkirk was on the pitch for 90 minutes. I just don't understand that one. The moment the goal goes in, it's 1-1, it's game on then. Falkirk was doing nothing. And I look at Wilson and I think 15 minutes in a game where it's going to be stretched, we can hit him on the break. I thought it was just made for him, if I'm being honest. What we got here? Falkirk lost nearly all duels, headers, and that's supposed to be his strong point. I think he won 2 headers out of 14. If the stats are right, and anyone who's go on to the E20's posts, I posted up earlier this morning. As I say, I got loads of shit over it, over the Falkirk thing. I thought, no, I'm not being gaslit by you, mate. I'm not. Because I know my eyes ain't lying. And then what it is, when people start calling you out, it's like you start doubting yourself. And I was like, no, I'm not doubting myself on this one. I know he was bad. I watched the game. I was going berserk at some of the things he was doing. I'm not going berserk for a laugh. So looked at the stats, and the stats didn't lie. So yeah, being up there last night, that second half performance will be okay. Fair play to Everton for getting that stadium bang on. Yeah, I know. Someone said that to me earlier, funny enough. They said the stadium's not too bad. Really nice gaff. Really nice. Some of your man of the match. Hope we can keep him fit. Yeah, he's dynamite, mate. He's dynamite. I remember having discussions on X and people having a go at him, saying, oh, he's like another Ben Rama. You ain't going to do it. And I said, listen, you get this geezer in a team where it's like a counter-attacking unit, right? You got 2 wide men in Bowen and Somerville. I feel like we're just missing that final piece up front, and that's a centre forward. Right, if we can get the centre forward right and identify a centre forward, young, up and coming, right, with a bit of pace, we might be all right. We might be all right. But how can you play counter-attacking style with fucking Krug and Wilson? To a point, I think Wilson, you can do it in the last 10 minutes of the game, but you can't do it from the start. So, you know, it's a problem, isn't it? It annoys me so much when Lucas stops doing the basics. Completely agree on that one. One thing people can't fault in Paqueta is trying. The problem is we have no movement up front. When Cry and Bowen were being man-marked, Lucas is looking for passes and there's nothing on. I sort of agree, but then there is times where he just floats in and out of the game. Whereas a lot of them do that. And my only issue is that Bowen's the only one who's really sort of chipping in with the goals, and no one else really is. Some of who hasn't scored a goal, I don't think, this season, if memory serves me right. And obviously, Krug's not getting anywhere near the goal. And it's like we're relying on Bowen to sort of pull us out of the mire every single time. And this is the problem. Like, we can't keep relying on him. Others have to help him out. Paqueta don't score many goals. Fernandez don't. Some of who hasn't. Krug's not. So the goals need to start coming from other areas of the pitch. If they do, I'm happy. You know what I mean? Well, I'll be over the moon if it does. I have a good impression of Nuno. I think he's grown on people a little bit, if I'm being honest. The only thing that is annoying is he forces it at times, but that's his game. Yeah, very true. Let's get to this one. I think a lot of West Ham fans that wanted the move are too ashamed to admit they were conned. That's a great comment. That is a great comment. I'm going to be honest, because I think that is quite true. A lot of the fans felt like they've been had over. And listen, when you've been scammed out of something, it's quite embarrassing, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but for me, there's nothing to be ashamed of. He ain't done nothing fucking wrong. It's just that we've got an owner in charge who does everything wrong. So there you go. I wanted the move. I admitted I was conned. Fair enough. I really enjoyed the second half, end-to-end battle. Mosaurus, the Moisasaurus was unhappy. Nuno acts like a normal person. Well, you know, but Moyes did give us some credit, even though he did, sign in of half of that team. So yeah, I think having a few backroom staff from the academy would work. Yeah, listen, I thought Freddie Potts, his old man was on the bench last night. His old man got him on, and God, did he deliver or not? That kid certainly did. What we got there? These cretins at TalkSport are trying to make out we don't support the team, we don't support the ownership. That is my one fear. This is the one fear I've got. Yeah, and it is the one fear. And I'm going to be honest. I am concerned. Deep down, I am, because the reason being is now the narrative has changed. Now, right, Potter's gone. The big bad wolf's out the door. Does the media attention turn to the fans and say, "Well, now you got to support the team"? We had Sullivan on the ropes big time, and they've sort of turned it around that it was Potter and we were protesting for Potter when we was never protesting for Potter. We're protesting over the ownership of this club and the way the club has been run over the X amount of years he's been in charge, preferably the last 10 years. From the move to the present day, it hasn't been great, and some of the shit that's been coming out of there has been borderline insulting. What I'm worried about is listen, I want West Ham to win games of football, right? But I do support these protests because I know the end goal is Sullivan's gone and West Ham can go into a new world of being a potential top 10 established side. At the minute, we're more closer to the Championship than we are to the Champions League. And that's a worry. And listen, I want Nuno to do well. I really do. Yeah. And I believe he will do well. I think the style of play will suit us. I think the counter-attacking style will suit us down to the ground. If we can get some bodies in January, I think we might just be okay. The issue is that Sullivan is always the one person that I worry about when it comes to when it's going well. He can fuck it up in a heartbeat, and I don't want him to fuck it up. If I'm being truthfully honest. So yeah, yeah, I've read that one out. Let's have a look. Let's just get down here. What we got? Let's have a look. Macaulay will get thrown under the bus for all of Sullivan's sort out dodgy transfers. Well, he's already at the door, mate, isn't he? More than anything else, I actually don't think Debo's any good, to be honest. Yeah, I just think he's. Do you know what? I think he's just got a fucking attitude problem, isn't he? And a very bad one at that, by the sounds of it. Let's have a look. You think Wilson will start on the Saturday? No, I think he's going to go with Füllkrug, mate. That's the problem. Is he stuck with Füllkrug? And people keep comparing like Füllkrug to Chris Wood. Chris Wood's been in the league for years. Do you know what I mean? He's been in the league for a long time. I think he was at West Brom. He was at Burnley, not the Forest. Like he's been around the Premier League for a good few years. Füllkrug hasn't, and you know, it's a bit. I want him to do well, Füllkrug, but can he do well in this style of play? I don't think he can. I don't. I just don't see it. Last night, like the amount of times that Malik Diouf was bombing down that wing. And I obviously I'm watching it, and I've got the phone right there, so I can see. I've got the camera there, everything. So as I'm seeing it, I'm seeing the ball coming across from the camera angle, and Füllkrug's not even in the shot. He's not even in the shot. Like he's jogging towards the 18-yard box, and I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, you've just seen this young lad bomb down the wing, literally go past two people, whip him a really great cross, and you're nowhere to be seen. Like, what's going on? And that weren't the first time he'd done that. That was about 2 or 3 times that Malik done that. Got down that side, whipped a cross in, and Füllkrug's like 10 yards behind the ball. Like, you know, it's not right. What have we got here? Evan. Hi, James. Sorry I've been inactive. Was in Greece and proposed to my fiance. Hope you're keeping well, mate. Don't do it, son. Don't do it. Do you know what I mean? She wants me to propose to her, but not anytime soon, mate. I know that for certain. But congratulations, mate, from me and all the boys on here. Nuno needs to keep out of the politics at this club if he wants to survive. Protesting the regime is not the team. He would do well to wind his neck in. Listen, he's here to do a job, right? Don't no one have their anger towards the manager. It should all be aimed at Sullivan. The issue is he's trying to build a foundation in the fan base. If he starts winning games, does that change? That's like this is the thing, because we did have him on the fucking rope, Sullivan, and I know we had him on the ropes because the media pressure, for the sake of that sort of 48 hours, he was under it. Do you know what I'm saying? And I hope he don't fucking win. James, would you go to any protest? Mate, I've been protesting for years. I went up to the protest that Crystal Palace one, and I went up with my mate, and I sort of stood right at the back. I see everyone from afar, and listen, I'm with everyone on this one. Like this is big. What it is now is we've got to be clever now, right? The only way that we're going to sort of get around this is that we've got to somehow support the team, but sort of get our points of view across that we don't want the ownership here. Listen, West Ham fans would always support this fucking club. West Ham could be playing in Cuba. I can guarantee you there'll be fucking planes ready to rock and roll and go to Cuba and to watch West Ham. I've not got no problem with that. It's how we do it now. Like the question is how do we go around it, that we get it across to the media that we will support the team, we will support the manager, we will support the fans, but we don't support the owner, right? And that's one thing that we've got to figure out as supporters. Hammers United have got to figure it out. Cross Hammers have got to figure it out. They will, because them geezers know what they're doing. And it's like once that happens, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Sullivan thinks he's won the day, and it's ironic that the first home game for Nuno is obviously the boycott one. So he knows what he's doing, Sullivan. But as we all know, he will fuck it up somewhere along the line, and we would all be there. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, we will all be there when he does. And when he does fuck it up, Sullivan, we will remind Talk Sport and Sky Sports that look, this is what it is, and we'll go from there. The January window for me is massive. It really is, because if he does not back this man in the January window, then I think it's going to be a slog to try and stay in this league. Because I think he needs help. He needs massive help in the January window. Let's see if Sullivan's going to back him or not. Let's have a look at this. Hamish United just need to make it clear with a statement the week leading up to the Brentford that it's against the ownership, and the manager and players have everyone's full support. That's what it is. What Terry's just said there, great comment. It's how they do it in the media though, because they've got to get them. Like, the media was massively on our side. Now the media is sort of shifting to say that any fans protesting, that they're the problem. Fucking, they're not the problem, mate. Do you know what? Also, I'm going to say this: anyone who defends Sullivan, and people saying, "Well, what's protest going to do? It's just going to jeopardise the team." So Sullivan can go and do what he likes, chat as much shit as possible, and you can't question him. Like you can't question him. You can't say nothing about him. You can't slag him off. Right? Anything you say remotely negative towards the ownership, we can't do that. Fuck that for a laugh. 29,000 people have walked away from West Ham. That's not right. They don't walk away for a laugh. Let's have it right. They've walked away for a reason. And there's so many who have over the years. Let's get down to the bottom here. Mad Max 5892. What a name. It's got Mikel Antonio in his bio. I think we played well last night. I think we played well in the second half. I thought first half there was nothing about us. It felt like first half it was Potter's team. Second half it was Nuno's team for me. What else we got? I much prefer Nuno ball than Potter ball. Tiki taka. I don't even. Do you know what? I don't ever want to see five at the back ever again at this club. Right? I'm not calling out no names because I know they are, right? And they're YouTubers and they're mates of mine. But I'm telling you something now, right? I used to have fucking Barneys with these lads, right? When they used to say to me, "Oh, five at the back works, James. It isn't defensive. Like, it's a like you get possession, you do all this shit." I'm like, "No, mate, it's fucking shit. Give me 4-3-3, right? Counter attack, two inside forwards, a centre forward, and three along the fucking middle of the park, right? And we'll be fine." And I stand by that. I really do. Chris Will was shit for 4 years, and the last 2 years were good. James, give Falkirk 5 games in a row. Back end of last season, he scored a few pre-season. Pot had no consistency. Strikers need to play. Yeah, mate, we're giving him 5 games. I can guarantee you he'd be lucky if he scores 1 goal. He's not getting those shots, mate, away. Right, he's not getting enough shots away. Like last night, he had 1 shot in 90 minutes. Like as the striker, he's got to be doing more, surely. Like he has to be doing more. And the thing is, Bowen will be quiet and then score. Falkirk will be quiet and then you won't see him. So, you know. What we got here, let's have a look. I'm going to skip down to it a little bit because there's so many comments here. Nuno is a 5 at the back guy though, James. He only stuck with a 4 because Potter's already set it up. He may revert. Well, if he reverts, it has to work because I don't think it works. I don't think I've ever seen West Ham ever play good in a 5. Like, and I mean consistently. Under Moyes, it was 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3. Yeah. I don't remember a time when West Ham played good in a 5. The media, I think now we have a new manager, everything will be okay. They are more clueless than their owners. Yeah, I completely agree with you, Bob, man. And they are trying to spin the narrative a little bit. Like, and I am going to talk about the Talk Sport thing now. Listen, I highly suggest going and watching the Talk Sport video that came out earlier on. 3 West Ham fans was on there. And I was doing a bit of work this morning and I was listening to it. And I think it was one of the geezers that had a go at, was it Alex Crook? Right. I said, you've been talking enough. You need to shut up and listen. Right. Which I sort of understood what he was saying. But the first lad who come on, I can't remember what his name was. He was shit hot, absolutely shit hot, and he had him on ropes big time. He sort of pinpointed what he wanted to talk about, nailed everyone, like every single topic he nailed, and it worked. It simply worked. And it's very rare that Jim White's fucking speechless, but he was. So and it will listen. The issue is now is how we turn it. That's all it is. Uh, let's have a look. What else we got here? We ain't got the players to play five at the back, and we've already seen it. I completely agree, mate. I think 4-3-3 all day long. Then when we sell Paqueta, Fernandez, he'll take over his role. Shout out Toby Cole. Hope you're well, mate. There's one team that plays five at the back well, and that's Palace. Yeah, I know. But that's one team out of 20, though, isn't it? Good call, though, Toby. Good call, son. I have Paqueta has been one of the best players this season, and you refuse to acknowledge the basic fact. I don't know about if he's been one of the best players this season. He's had goodish games. His game against Nottingham Forest was good. I'll say he's been the best, mate. Malik Diouf has been an excellent signing. For me, it's crazy how Tadibo gets away with it. Do you know what though, Kane? I actually think they're in a bit of a shit situation because they signed him for £34 million. They're going to find it very, very hard with his attitude for someone to sort of come in and take him off our hands for the same money. So they're going to have to try and build him up, like to a level where someone might come in and pay the same money. Now, if we could get £34 million for him, we could get £30 million for him. Well, it'd be great. But can we really see it? That's the only problem. Do you know what I'm saying? I just don't see it. I just don't see it at all. Let's have a look. What else we got here? Seen a picture with Dawson, with players signing him to the end of the season, even for a backup. Yeah, ain't it mad? Dawson's better than what we got at the minute. Like, I thought Kilman was a bit better last night, and him working with Nuno will go down well. Obviously, they did work together at Wolves. I think it was Nuno who signed him, if I remember rightly, from Maidenhead. I might be wrong on that, but I'm sure it was Nuno who signed him. So, he's got an eye for a talent. What's going to be interesting is who's going to pick the players, like as in signings now, because obviously McCauley's gone. Potter's probably on holiday somewhere, like chilling out and looking forward to another payout. And I wonder where we're going to go now in regards to recruitment. Like, are we going to bring someone in? Is Sullivan going to be picking the players? Is Nuno going to bring someone in who picks these players for him? It'd be interesting to see what you guys think on that. Really do. Apparently, another kids for a quid days for Burnley now. No way. Seriously, is that the day? Mate, they fucking know. They know, right? This ownership know they're on the ropes. They know it. They know it. They know that if that is true, which it probably is, was West Ham United fan has just said it. If they go out and do kids for a quid on the Burnley game, which is the major protest where they're looking to get big numbers and hand over that petition, then yeah, they're fucking wrong uns, mate. Absolute wrong uns. Macaulay's gone, mate. That's what I read. Potter's gone and Macaulay's out the door and all. So yeah, it's all over, lads. It's all over. We can get max 15 million for Tadibo. Another load of money wasted. True. A mix of Mendez who is Nuno's agent, and Sully Salthouse. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? What we got here? Crazy. If so, fighting the protests for the media. These scumbag owners have got Jim White's back, and we don't support the team on TalkSport. Disgraceful. It really is, mate. It really is. This is the only thing I'm worried about, yeah, because I said we have to get the media on side. Right, I think we had the media on side. Sullivan's acted, um, and it's now how do we go about it to turn it around again? Because it just feels like it's a battle with Sullivan, right? And from what Jim White was saying today, Sullivan's not going anywhere, and he's prepared to stay there and put up with this. Have we got the desire to keep going through it over and over again? Do you know what I'm saying? Um, I don't know. I don't know. Just delay the protest. Make all the home games kids for a quid. Yeah. So Jim White is a wind up merchant for views. Does it get the reaction? Does it get the reaction? I would say so. I'd say so. It does. Like, he knew when he was speaking today to them three West Ham fans. Like, there was all different personalities, and like, I think it was something that Stuart Pearce said, if I remember rightly. Stuart Pearce said something about the bowling, and he said about like they had to move and this and that. My argument to that is that you haven't got to move anywhere. Look at Bournemouth. I remember Bournemouth 12 years ago when they nearly went out of business. Right, when they was under Dean Court Stadium, they was in League Two, and they was even playing Dagenham and Redbridge, right, about 12 years ago, right. That club nearly went out of business because they did like a lot of problems there, and Bournemouth are a better run club and sell players better than what we do. Bournemouth have basically took up the Brighton model, yeah. They recycle players in and out of that club every 2 years, right? But the only problem is with Bournemouth and Brighton and teams like that is their fan bases are not like massive. Like, when I look at Brighton's fan base and Bournemouth's fan base, it's not huge. When I look at the West Ham fan base, it's quite a big fan base. Like, and I've sort of gathered that like things are different then, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Especially with us. The Bournemouth one is a great example. Moving stadium was for the board's financial gain. That's what it is, mate. That's what it is. And people keep saying, and Alex Crook, right, done my nutting today. Absolute done my fucking nutting. I really wanted to get on there because I was going to ring up, but I thought, don't embarrass yourself, James, and don't embarrass the West Ham community. Right? But he kept saying about, yeah, but you won a trophy, right? And listen, I love that trophy. People know on here, right? I fucking love it. I cried my heart out on that night. And yeah, I let it all go. I let all the years of supporting West Ham go when we won that trophy. But I'm not buying the trophy as the thing. Us winning the trophies is irrelevant to the situation. When you've got a ground which is full up with tourists, with day trippers, with people who don't even support the club. Like, that's the one that irritates me. Tourists isn't a problem for me because if they come over and they go and watch a West Ham game and they become a West Ham fan, that to me is what it's about. What bothers me is the people that are going and sitting in the home end who don't even support the fucking club. They support Arsenal or Chelsea. And all they've done is got a season ticket for West Ham. That's what irritates me more, if I'm being truthfully honest. He's an arrogant twat, that bloke. The Conference League didn't even exist. Well, it did to us, mate. That mod on TalkSport has not got a clue about West Ham. True. I don't think we need to spend big. An old school centre back and a young pacey striker. I think that's all we're going to get from now to the sort of end of the old January window. It's going to be interesting to see where West Ham land on January the 1st. If you want me to be truthfully honest, I need West Ham out of this relegation zone by January the 1st and away at least. If West Ham are 14th come January the 1st, I'm over the moon. 15th, okay. If we're in the bottom three come January the 1st, I'm gonna be concerned because, you know, we all know how Sullivan works in the January window. He doesn't really go heavy on the January window. The last time I remember him having to go and spend in the January window was Suchet and Bowen. He signed Bowen from Hull. And he got Souček on a loan, and then we signed him for 80 million if we stayed up. And obviously, yeah, we stayed up. So hopefully, it might be all right. Stop blaming the stadium. We ain't complaining about it during 3 European seasons. I've got to disagree with you there, mate. Absolute disagree with you. Right? Why do people walk away? Now, this is right. Interesting debate. I'm gonna leave that up though. Right? People say, "Oh, you got to stop moaning about it," but people are walking away from West Ham yearly. I'm seeing it all the time. Right? Yous are seeing it all the time. Right? Listen, I'll shout a few people out. West Ham Fan TV, people on there. Nick, Claret and Booze, he probably speaks to a lot of people who are older and basically they don't go. I speak to a few people who don't go. I don't go. I've never set foot in that gaff. So this is not us moaning because of 3 European seasons. This is us moaning because it's not what we was promised. Do you know what I mean? And the thing is that the best way of summing it up is, where do you see West Ham being in 10 years' time from now? That's the question that I like to ask anyone who's in the chat right now. Tell me where West Ham are going to be in 10 years' time in regards of like the structure, the stadium, progression. Like the stadium, I don't think nothing's going to happen to that stadium until we own it. And I don't think they're going to want to own it because obviously they'd have to pay for maintenance costs and all that. And they've got a great deal with not having the stadium and them not owning it. So, you know, exactly where we are now. Yeah, and I don't want us to be like that. Do you know what I'm saying? I think what it is, you might have to shrink down the 65 to about 55,000, have a strict sort of waiting list for West Ham fans who have been there, seen it and done it. It's too easy. It is miles too easy in this day and age to go and get a ticket for West Ham. I mean, too easy, right? They're, especially at home games. And listen, I'm going to say this, right? But the Brentford game's a bit of a tricky one. But take the Brentford game aside for a second. Go back and watch the go back and watch the Tottenham game, but don't watch the game. Look at the crowd. The amount of empty seats in that crowd was frightening, right? And this is not like top tier empty seats. This is seats even in the lower parts. These are seats that are actually pretty good. Do you know what I'm saying? That's saying something. So, you know, it's a ripple effect. That's what it is. Because they lied to us about it being ready for football. We was lucky to get that stadium. Even Spurs and Levy wanted a stadium. Yeah, but right. Let me put it this way to you. Would you rather have upgraded Upton Park like Spurs did with White Hart Lane and sort of regenerated the area, or move to a ground that we don't own? I know what the answer is going to be. People are going to say, right, generate Upton Park. They could have done that. They didn't because it was too much dough. That's what it is. They knew that they was onto an earner. You get more going away games, songs, atmospheres, and the enjoyable experience now than at the LS. Yeah, I know, mate. Not good. What else we got here? Let's have a look. I'm going to flick through a few more, and then we're going to done. Let's get to Matt. I missed this comment earlier. Talk shite, I'll wind up merchants, and Jim shite is just a Sullivan arse licker. I love all the names that he's used. I know they've rumbled and real media are reporting on what a mess the club is. Got Sullivan and Brady. Well, really, Brady needs to be sacked, I'm afraid, because you failed us, Karen Brady of Knightsbridge. And do you know what? I'll tell you what, oh, mate. If you get a chance tonight, go back and watch that the Talk Sport thing, because Jim White really stitched himself up today. It's fucking epic, right? Because he goes saying about the ownership and all that, and the geezer said, "Oh well, didn't Karen Brady come out and say that she was backing Potter?" And Jim White's face was just like, "Well, yeah." you know, fuck. And I was like, oh, brilliant, mate. What it is, one thing what this fan base is learning, right? And I'm not patronising no one at all, mate. I'm all love, right? But they're using their loaf at last, right? They're using that and going, right, don't lose your rag, right? Have your answers ready and yeah, and spin it around. Like what it is, right? And there's certain people, right, who wouldn't go on there because they would lose their rag. I'm one of them, right? And I'm not prepared to embarrass myself, even though if I wanted to ring up and say something, I think I'd have to hold myself back because one bad caller makes us look all bad. Yeah, they tie everyone with the same brush. So that's why I would never go on there. But there is people that are going on there who speak better than some of us, right? Who are handling these media geezers down to a T. I did the other day. I had a media geezer who is a podcaster, and he come at me and started saying about, oh, well, what are you going to say about the ownership now? And my argument was, right, 10 years, many lies, a ground that we don't own, and sort of chucked a few facts at him, and they don't like the facts because the facts don't lie. It's as simple as that. The facts of West Ham do not lie. They don't change, right? The facts are the facts, and we just got to keep cool on this one. It's going to be a long road to try and get Sullivan out. It ain't going to happen overnight, and listen, it ain't going to. It might not even happen this year, but we've just got to keep calm. And he will fuck up Sullivan. Let's put it this way: he will, right? He always does, and we will be there when he does. He will do something that fucks up the situation. So right. Let's get down the bottom here. You all having rows about Levy? Uh, Irons TV says, I think you should have more faith in yourself, James. I do, mate. But listen, I think people like Dan Lawless are smashing it at the minute. Don't get me wrong. I could go on there and I could probably hold my own because listen, I've got 10 years worth. Do you know what I mean? People have been to the London Stadium. I've never even set foot in there, right? For me, I know I'll get my emotions will take over. Then yeah, make me look like a prick. Even though people think I'm a prick now, I don't want to make myself look a bigger prick than what I am. So there you go. But it's for the greater good. And me and Dan Lawrence actually discussed this before privately, and basically we said that people are sort of in the zone there of this, right? The fan groups, the YouTube speakers, it is working. It's just going to take a bit of time to get this geezer out because he ain't gonna lie down, is he? He's got a big asset there, and we'll have to see. I've been there. Fair enough. Yeah, you just got to crack on though, mate, ain't you? Put the pressure on Kadinsky. Stop buying stamps. Do you know what, mate? How much are fucking stamps now? That's the point. Muttley, how much are stamps now? Let me know how much stamps are. It's about £6. I remember when I had to post a letter the other week and like, wow, it was expensive. I know that. You know what I mean? Fucking Kadinsky. I think it was actually Kadinsky who was pushing to get Potter out, if I'm being honest. Sullivan doesn't really sack people unless he absolutely has to. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it was Kadinsky who done that. Really wouldn't. Does go to show how much of a bullshitter she is. Publicly backing Potter 2 weeks before sacking him. Completely agree, mate. Completely agree. And this is the thing that right, I'm pretty calm on it, right? Because one thing I'm happy about is everyone is like that now. Right, everyone's eyes are firmly on the owner, and that was a start. There was too many times where ego was getting in the way, and people weren't working with each other for the greater good. Right. The issue is now, as I always say, is we're going to have to be calm on this one and wait for him to fuck up, and he will fuck up, Sullivan, because he always does. So it's only going to be a matter of time before something else happens, and then everyone's looking at him again, and we will be there to remind the world exactly why we want him out the door. At present, anyone who's protesting at the minute, it looks like, oh, they're the problem, but they're not. They're not. But it's how One thing I've noticed doing this game, how you can spin a narrative, on someone pretty easy, and people can get the wrong impression of a person or a group of people. Trust me, I've seen it, and it's filth if I'm being truthfully honest. So but our time will come. Our time will come with him, 100%. Irons, let's see what you've got to say, mate. Everyone is now pulling in the same direction, and Sullivan and Brady hate it. They're losing a lot of friends in the media. Keep up the good work, James. Yeah, mate. It's everyone, though, isn't it? You know what I mean? Listen, I've said it for a long time. Anyone who's followed me for a long time, I've said it for a head of a long time. I'm not really liked in the West Ham community, if I'm being straight, but I don't really care. Do you know what I'm saying? But I'm real. That's one thing with me. Right, I'm as real as they come, and I'll sit down, have a beer with you. And if someone didn't like me and they say I don't like you because of this, this, and this, I'd listen to them and try and find out why. So many people don't even know me, and they go, "Oh, that E20's a right prick, and he's right this." I've seen it on other channels, like people having a go, but I laugh at it because I know what I'm saying is true, yeah, and I know that it will work, and it has worked to a point because they have woken up a little bit. The issue is now is that where do we go down the road, like from now? Um, the the protests have to continue for me. There's no two ways about it. They have to, because if you stop them now or you don't protest against the board, then it makes us look fickle. The issue is that we're going to have to do it in a smoother way to basically say, right, it's not about the players, it's not about the manager, it's about the ownership and the structure of the ownership at West Ham. And if we can sort that out, we can get our message across without it jeopardising the team, then we'll be all right. We'll be fine. The Royal Mail owner has no interest in us, the fans. He's only interested in his investment. He will soon sell up once the right offer comes in. He hasn't got time for any of our owners. Yeah, but the problem is with that is that his investment is slowly dropping. This is where you're wrong, Eamon. Because Kadinsky is an investor and he's invested into something. If that investment starts to drop in value because no one's turning up, everyone's against the owner, you're going to have in boardroom clashes. And for me, that's what we need. We need them to be clashing in the boardroom and putting pressure. I think Kadinsky to be saying to him, well, I'm not being funny, my investment's going down the pan because you're here. Like, can't you just piss off or whatnot? What we do really need, we need someone to buy out these gold shares. That's the one that we need. Right, we need someone to come in and get the gold shares. And apparently, they don't want to hand them over to Sullivan. That's what someone told me. So we need someone to come in who could potentially blow Sullivan out the water with a and even put a bid in to sort of take over Sullivan's shares. Well, we need something. We need something. I've said it a few. I'm going to round up in a minute. Yeah, but I did say West Ham needs something to galvanise the fan base a few weeks ago. Right, it just come to me now. I'm going to land on this. I think Nuno's the guy to galvanise the fan base because one thing I see with him is he's very passionate, and I love that in a person. I'm a very passionate person. Maybe I'm too passionate, but I love that in a person because you can see through their emotions how they feel about what they're doing. Right, I love it. Nuno might be able to pull the fan base together in regards of on the pitch. It's all about off the pitch, and you know, anyone who goes on Talk Sport, all I'm going to say is this: just be cool, calm, and collective. And one thing I am going to say is they have been. Everyone who I've watched on there, from people calling in to people going on the old lives and all that, they've been shit up. And like, listen, it's very nerve wracking. Like, I've done this game for 4 years, right? And us YouTubers know how to sort of speak to a camera. Speaking to people on a higher platform where there's thousands of people listening, watching, etc. It's very, very tough. And one thing that I can honestly say is they are doing us proud by getting out there, getting their voices across in a very, very positive way. One thing what we're doing is we're not losing our rag against this geezer. And some of us hate this man. Some of us actually hate this man to a passion. Me being one. But what they're doing is they're doing well. Do you know what I mean? BS out, taking us for mugs. They most certainly are, mate. The bottom line is we must drive BS out, otherwise they will ruin the club. They can't be trusted at all. I completely agree, mate. I completely agree. But what it is, we're going to have to do it in a way that they can't turn around and say, well, you protesting is jeopardising the team. Because once they say that, it makes us look like the bad guys. And that's what we can't do. Right. And it's going to, let's put it this way, it's going to require some planning and ways of going around it. But I think we'd be all right if we can sort this out. Shout out to Stuart. Good evening, James. Hope you're well. Yes, I'm all good, mate. I'm all very good. Right, I'll tell you what, that is it, mate, ladies and gentlemen. I've done an hour. I thought I'd come on here and have a chat with you and see what all you guys have got to say. My missus has just got a new job, so do you know what I mean? So she's happy and she's taking us out for dinner tonight. Do you know what I mean? Trust me. Wendy's it is. So there you go, lads. Power to the people. My final thought is this. Listen, Nuno's here and Nuno's at the wheel. It's going to be interesting to see the next 3 games, as I always say, but Arsenal, we just need to sort of make sure we don't get hammered in that game, get into the international break, and then go from there. Brentford and Leeds are massive. They are huge games for West Ham, and if West Ham can get 4 points out of them games, obviously I'd like 6, but I'm going to be real. I'll take a win and a draw right now just to get us up and running. We might be all right. But obviously the protest must continue. The boycott must happen. And listen, one thing I will round on is this: West Ham played excellent in an empty stadium many years ago. So good that it got us to Europe on a few occasions. Having an half-empty stadium isn't going to affect West Ham United, right? Because they know that. Listen, some of them probably know it's the owner's problem. So we're going to see. We're going to see in the future what it's all about. And yeah, Sullivan, it's going to take us time to get you out, mate. But we will win, and we will get you out in the end, because the pressure will mount, and you will have it on your toes. You really will. Anyway, that's enough from me. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to E20 Zone TV. Hit notification bell. I am done now till Thursday. I am organising a Arsenal after hours video. I am going to be surrounded by Arsenal fans who I know, all YouTubers. I'm going to have a right good laugh about it. The highs and lows of Arsenal, and do you know what? It would be epic if we could turn up and turn them over. Do you know what I mean? Because we do love to get a result against Arsenal, but it's going to be fun anyway. So yeah, I will see you on Thursday. I'm going to have tomorrow off. I ain't doing nothing tomorrow. Anyway, that's enough from me. Take care of good health, and I'll see you again in the next one. Peace.